I tend to look at life holistically. And what I mean is that I will learn something from one thing and I'll apply it to something else. Or I'll see patterns in one place and say, hey, I've seen this pattern before. Yeah. Sometimes it gets a little disturbing though, especially when you find yourself on a bicycle thinking, I've done this in WoW before. In the ongoing saga of Tiger doesn't get to have nice things, I tried to replace a cell phone that's going to be bricked by AT&T in December, and I tried to buy one from Google to get on their Project Fi thing, and I couldn't because reasons. And in frustration, I tweeted with no expectation of a response from Google because they don't talk to anyone. Then I got a response, but not from Google. It came from this guy, and yeah, I was a little salty answering him because it was just some random guy. Then I got another reply from another random guy. So at first I thought, okay, I'm going to get dogpiled or sea lioned by Google fans of all things. Then I noticed a hashtag, GHelp. It was on both tweets. Reporter senses tingling. Apparently Google has this program called Help on Social, where regular people are encouraged to help other regular people through social media channels, whether they ask for the help or not. Hence my expectations of dogpiles and sea lions. So why would people do this? Why would people spend their limited free time answering questions for Google? Okay, some people are just nice and they want to help other people, but I got a feeling there was more to this. The first person to offer unsolicited help lists himself as a Google top contributor, and his profile pic is obviously taken at what looked like a convention. So I did literally a little digging, and I found out there's some serious bennies that Google hands out to its top contributors. They get to beta test Google stuff, they fly them out to conferences, and apparently they get to work with Google staff on stuff, like actually talk to people at Google. And I mean, it is impossible to get an actual physical person over at Google. It's like trying to get a response out of you. Yeah. But I see what Google did here. It's a game, and it has prizes. Philanthropy has been gamified. Let's take a step back and talk about gamification. I remember as a kid playing so-called learning games like, well, Oregon Trail obviously, but there were typing games and math games, and we did this on the old green screen Apple II computers in our grade school. Oh, fun fact, by the way, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego actually came with a World Almanac in the box, so you could look up information as you were playing it. This is basic gamification. Now, the core idea is to take a subject that's fairly mundane and engage kids in a game environment. Make learning fun! Learning games are usually anything but fun, but there are some notable and interesting exceptions. In the classroom setting, gamification gives students goals. They see some kind of progress for what they're doing. They might even see applications for things like math and finances in the real world through games like, I don't know, SimCity. At its core, it's a great idea. But like everything else in the world, it gets abused and eventually, for lack of a better word, it gets weaponized. Okay, you think I'm overstating this? Yeah, I want you to do an experiment with me. I want you to pause the video, go to your favorite search engine, and type in the word gamification and see what comes up. Okay, if you chose Google, you probably got the same results that I did. Weaponized. And if you keep scrolling down, you're going to see that there are courses in it, companies that help you do it, and all that other stuff. Companies use techniques from video game culture to hook their customers, and they exist because it works. And all the proof I need can be found at McDonald's. Every year they run that damn Monopoly program, and okay, if you want to look at it, let's look at it as a gamer for just a moment here. What is the Monopoly promotion? It's basically grinding on lockboxes. You go to McDonald's, you buy your McFood, you get your McGame pieces, and you try to collect a complete set. And if you collect the full set, you win. The more McFood you buy, the more McGame pieces you get. And it's no different than grinding mobs for hours trying to get that rare drop from one of them. But where grinding mobs just takes time, grinding McGame pieces usually takes money. So let's say you want to maximize your chances through minimal cost. How would you do it? Well, you get the most from buying supersized fries and supersized sodas and specific sandwiches. And what's the most profitable menu item? Fries and sodas. And the bonus game pieces are always on the premium $3 and up sandwiches too. If you buy the McMeal, you maximize your chances, but you also maximize profits to McDonald's. Now I know one of you people is going to say, but you can get the game pieces for free. Have you ever tried? Because I have. You gotta do it through the mail now. You can't actually go to McDonald's and get free game pieces anymore. And for some reason, my game piece request always gets lost in the mail. Funny that. Okay, so it's just McFood. I mean, if you don't like it, you can go get tacos or something like that, right? So what happens if gamification gets, dangerous? So let me let you in on something that's not so secret. I've been cycling a lot, and one could argue that the only reason I'm alive right now is because I've been cycling all of it. Anyway, you might think I'm going to talk about professional cycling, but that's not as dangerous as you think in the grand scheme of things. To quote one of many Murphy's Laws of Combat, professionals are predictable and the world is full of amateurs. Enter the several online exercise logging sites that exist. I primarily use 3 of them: Endomundo, MapMyFitness, and Strava. I do use other sites like Ride with GPS and such, but I latched onto those 3 knowing full well they use gamification techniques to engage me. I mean, hell, they hit my MMO buttons harder than World of Warcraft ever did, and that's saying something. Okay, let's be fair here. Strava, Ride with GPS, they do offer useful services. You can map your routes ahead of time, you can plan your day, but as a gamer, I see some things that they do and I just kind of ear perk a little bit. For example, Strava has guilds. Okay, they call them clubs, but it's basically a guild system. You compare stats against other riders, you message them so that you can get together. Does this sound familiar?
Now, taking even more from the MMO playbook, they also have things like quests and achievements and leaderboard. They call them different names, but they're all basically there. So if you're a gamer, you feel right at home. It's actually kind of nice, but I suppose I'm not really any closer to talking about the dangerous thing yet. Okay. So if you're playing an MMO and you push a little bit too hard, what happens? You might get a little tired, you might get frustrated, you walk away for a little while, not that big a deal. What happens if you're in the real world and you push too hard?
So I made this one segment that, in all reality, is really dangerous to do at speed. I made it just to make an 80s song reference, and I forgot about it. I'll let you figure out which 80s song it was down in the comments below. The route involves this pretty nice straight, and then you have to take a left across a major road. The connecting road is filled with ruts and potholes. Then there's a stop sign that if you want to maintain your speed, you got to blow through it. And then a return downhill that if you don't brake hard near the end of it, you're going to run through another stop sign. One night I saw a message on there that said someone had taken my best time and there was this soft sell to go get my time back. I probably could do it, but it's that whole crossing a busy road at speed that makes me nervous, and that whole stop sign thing. And there are people who actually specifically hunt for King of the Mountain routes, and then they rack them up like trophies. There's also a lot of routes that are marked dangerous by Strava because they cross major highways. Then there's just the flat-out cheaters that were in it just for the prizes. Over on MapMyFitness, they had this achievement with rewards. Okay, they give away gift certificates, and they have trips, electronics, and so on and so forth. But to qualify for these rewards, you have to log a minimum number of workouts over a specific amount of time, with a maximum per day. Problem number 1 is that people just outright cheat because they use the phone app to record workouts that just never happened.
Oh yeah, I totally went to the gym and I totally jazzercised for 3 sessions of 30 minutes each consecutively every day for a month. It was awesome! Yeah, right, sure. Come to think of it, I don't think any of you will even remember what jazzercise was, but yeah, anyway. Brings up the problem number 2 in all of this, and that is that the real world happens. I mean, people get sick, you get injured, you have to pull overtime at work. What happens if the weather's really bad? What's going to happen is that people are going to feel incentivized, if that's a word, it is now. They're going to feel incentivized to go out under these bad conditions or under these injured conditions in order to, push through so they can qualify for their prize, because, no qualification, no prize, right? Which brings me back to the opening statement of the show.
So in this particular month, I haven't been able to get out as much as I want to on the bike. And when I have, my runs were voided because they went over the maximum distance and went over the maximum time. And they go by the number of workouts, not by the effort that you put into them. So as a result, I wasn't able to make the minimum to qualify for the prize drawing. Now I could just cheat like everybody else does, but I'm not like that. So I pulled some tricks out of my MMO bag of dailies. First, I started breaking my rides into segments.
So let me show you how I'm having to game the system.
This is how much I've just gotten done riding right now, about 13.5 miles. But it's the elapsed time that I'm looking at here, so I have to save that.
Now I have to hit start again and record a second ride all the way back home.
The second is you just wait for the dailies to reset. Oh, come on, like you've never raced the clock to get your dailies in before the reset so you could rerun them exactly at 3 o'clock in the morning. In this case, it was actually a lot easier because I could just run 30-minute segments, wait 5 minutes until after midnight, and then run another 30.
And by doing this, I managed to make the minimum by the end of the month. Now, mind you, I was moving at a pace that Miss Daisy would find comfortable, but they don't care about the effort that you put in. They only care about the numbers. And I think that's going to be the legacy of gamification.
As cynical as this sounds, I don't trust any large corporation to be responsible with techniques like gamification. Most companies think that we're going to be involved emotionally with their brand because they use the game techniques we all know and loathe, leveling up, scoreboards, guilds, achievements, and so on, to make us excited or hyped for their brand name. But in the end, these corporations are just going to turn regular people into power gamers. Do the minimum effort for the maximum reward, frag the weak, hurdle the dead, that kind of mentality. Our engagement will end after we do our dailies. We might even come to hate the product in the same way that some people get burned out and hate some MMOs. And that can happen in a virtual world, on a bicycle, in the drive-thru. As gamers, we're used to this stuff, but it's being unleashed on a population of people who don't know about it, or they see it as just fun or harmless. Meanwhile, every gamer has a story, or they know someone else who stopped playing because these techniques were being pushed too hard. And in the real world, these techniques have some fairly dire consequences. What's going to happen when someone tries to get a best time and they run a red light? Ultimately, companies are going to keep using gamification because it works, at least in the short term. It works on our competitive nature. It works on our personal sense of achievement. It works on our pride. It works on our sense of investment in a project. It works on our curiosity of, ooh, what's behind this game piece? And it works until we burn out. And when what you do for fun becomes a constant competition, it ceases to be fun and you just bail. But companies aren't going to care if you leave because they'll keep on profiting the whole way.
One thing I always try to do in these shows is come up with solutions, but there really isn't going to be one for this because they're going to keep on doing it. All I can really do is inform people that it's happening so that when you see it, you can recognize it for yourself and go, oh, okay, I understand what's going on here. Yeah, okay, it's fun to play along, but it's not so much fun when you're getting played. Okay, a reality check on this one. What's cheaper for Google? Hiring a full-time staff of employees to do nothing but answer questions on social media, or gamifying it, getting about 10,000 volunteers, and then paying off a handful of them with some cool prizes?
On the bright side, it's a reminder that I have to stop and, oh, hi, you're a wasp. Oh, hello. Yeah, maybe this is not such a great place to stop. Yeah, I think I'm going to take my chances under another pavilion. Back away slowly.